Next, we're going to invite Tack up to present.
Sorry.
You sent it to me on Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, just alt tab to the or escape. Yeah, and then just go to the Discord tab at the top there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Hi guys.
Hi.
All right. That's so. First, thank you very much for the host of this event at the New Manitoba. This was really making this the entire slide deck was in itself it was a learning opportunity for me. So I really appreciate the whole occasion here. My presentation is called Leveling Up, and then this is me kind of talking about my whole creative process. So before I talk about that, my name is Taku Yoneda, or whenever I create something, I go by the name Q Yoneda. I am originally from Japan, and I am a manga creator. I'm learning game dev right now because I love video games. But also, by day, while the sun's up, I make UX UI. I'm a UX UI designer in the city. And then I made this. I hope you like it. All right, so, well, by the way, shout out to Danielle. He gave me the full creative freedom while I'm making that illustration. So I was able to just go out of the line and just do something a little bit unconventional. So thank you very much. Okay, so today I want to talk about the mentality behind my creative process. This, create more, and repeat. And then I want to start by throwing you this weird ratio number. Can you guess what it is? This is a very important number for me. Nobody. All right, we'll circle back. It's all right. But this is a very important ratio for me. So just memorize that, 5, 2, 2, 2, 3. So create. It's a verb. It's generally a verb, but also it's an acronym for me when I make something. And it stands for these. So contemplate, ready, engage, assemble, test, and elevate. So each stands for these. And then these are rough steps for me when I make something. Contemplate means you brainstorm, come up with ideas, purpose and goals, and basically you just kind of have an idea of what you're about to do. Ready is gather assets. You just mentally prepare yourself, do research, and then plan and schedule. Engage is you start getting your hands dirty by making mini prototypes and thinking about MVPs, and basically in this engage stage or engage step, you nurture and confirm the vision of your game. Assemble is simply put together what you prepared until this point, by this point, and then making the whole flow from the beginning to the end. Test is, as it says, test game, fix the bug, adjust, and then balance everything. And then elevate is making additional improvements, and basically just making everything prettier. To further organize these steps, I categorize these steps into 3 different stages: prep, build, and refine. By the way, I'm talking about this, and this is not only about video game creation. This is all UX UI design process as well. So I think this generally applies to a lot of different creative styles and stuff like that. But anyway, I categorize these steps into 3 stages: prep, build, and refine. So I circle back to this. So you may have guessed it by now, I don't know, but like, no. So Lucky goes like, no. This ratio is actually how much time, resources, and effort should be spent, or at least I spent, on each stage. And then, like, as you can see, like half of my creative process is actually prep. It's some sort of the golden ratio for me because I came up with this ratio by looking back many of my professional and also personal projects that I am proud of or I successfully done. And in pretty much every projects like that, that kind of follow this ratio. And how come this ratio is so important? I want to show you by showing the bad example as well. And by bad example, I also look back and then counted, my experience is that I often have 1 to 2 to 7 ratio, or maybe like 2 to 2 to 6 ratio. And then why that's bad? Well, your creative process goes like this. So on the left side is a good project. The right side is a bad project. And a good ratio goes, well, you take a lot of time to get to a certain level of quality, but once you get there, you just jump above the target quality line and you just keep going up. Now you'd be spending a lot of time, a lot of remaining of time to solely improve and make your game better or make your project entirely better. Bad project, on the other hand, you jump in and try to get to do something. You try to do something, and you do get to the target quality line relatively soon. But since you don't know what the hell you're doing, you just struggle. You just struggle to go above the target quality line. And you just so that comes down to, like, you'd be spending a lot of time bargaining or negotiating with yourself and trading off and trying to get something, or trying to get a pass, or trying to get a lot of good enoughs, or worst case, looking for excuses. In other words, your refining stage, meaning that, like, the last remaining part of your creative process, your refining stage becomes constant compromising. And that's a bad ratio project. You can focus on refining and improving your project with a good ratio, even though the allocation of the time is smaller than the bad ratio. You'll be spending 30% of your entire duration of your project very effectively. And that's why this 5 to 2 to 3 ratio is so important. Prep directly affects quality. And I want to give you finally, I want to give you the real life example I accumulated from the Peg Jam that I last joined February, I believe, right? So this is how I started. In contemplate step, I did exactly what I was supposed to do, which is sketching the ideas, and looked at a lot of beehive photos and stuff that was actually kind of gross. Lots of mini bugs there. And then I made a design doc and decided the goal for the jam. I was very, very nervous, by the way, because as soon as the theme was announced, everybody just get to Unity, get to Godot, and then, like, just make. And I'm like doing something on pen and paper, and like everybody's doing something, I gotta be doing something. But I stuck with my process. So I went on to the ready step. I made a full schedule for the game jam with the cutoff conditions, milestones, and asset list, mutable to-do list. And I also did a lot of research and coding and then plugins because I wanted to use specific stuff. And this worked out really, really well. I stuck with it. again, like I was looking around, like everybody's making stuff, and I'm just spreadsheet, just it's scary, but I stuck with it. By the way, this is heavily inspired by Sarah Tam of Relic Entertainment. Presentation about the project management. I've attended Game Biz Lab back in March, I think, and then that was an amazing presentation. I got super inspired, and then like, I got to do the better project management, and then I kind of stole the idea or borrowed the idea. I don't know. Oh, then this is the mutable to-do list. By mutable, I mean just stay flexible. Because depending on how I'm hitting the milestones, like I have to update the to-do list, I have to reprioritize things, right? And then especially this is a 48-hour game jam, so like I have to just constantly make the decision. So like I have to do that. So make sure that's mutable. And then finally, in engage step, I finally I feel better. I felt better at that point. I finally started making the actual game, but I started small. I made a super simple start screen, and then I made a little bit of sprite for characters, and then I tested the collisions and animation just to test the water, just like to make sure that I know how to do things. By doing that, I gradually nurtured and confirmed the vision of my game, and then like I just felt, okay, I'm confident enough that I can actually pull this off. And also by doing that, I made the parts of the game, and then I made the parts of the game which I would assemble in the next step into the full game, which is assemble step. And skipping ahead, I made this game Hive. This is a game jam game, so it's pretty short and sweet. But this is the first game I have ever made that I felt I've done it. Like I've done it properly. I've done it correctly. And I am very proud of this. And then after that, I participated in the Godot Wild Jam. And I got actually #1 in the graphic category. And then 15 in total out of 203 contenders. And I know exactly the number because I'm very proud of this. I want to brag. And of course, for this game, I strictly stuck with my process and ratio that I was talking about. By the way, I brought the binder full of this old thing. I printed everything out, so if you're interested in, I can write to you. I'm happy to share. So now you create. What do? Do you remember? You create more. And this is actually another acronym for me. So acronym CREATE is merely to make something more effectively and efficiently. More is to connect the creative process and its learning to the next one. So MORE stands for market, observe, reflect, and emulate. Market means bringing your product in front of people, with your game in front of people. Observe is see how people interact with your game, and your product in front of people, with your game in front of people. Observe is see how people interact with your game, and check stats and count and things like that. And reflect is, well, basically think about why people did that, why people did a certain thing, why people didn't do a certain thing. And emulate is apply everything you learned into your next project. And I actually got to do the actual thing. And then thanks for the nice cameo by Sasha there. And then Lucky's game is kind of next to my stuff, so I was very nervous. But yeah, I got to do the actual more part at Recent Icon. And exactly, I did market my game, so I decorated my table nicely and observed how people play my game. And it was very unnerving, by the way. That was my first time, and then like I'm just looking back, and you're like, I was literally like that. And in reflect, I actually got the straight feedback from the players, and some were good, some were a little bit more improvement needed, and things like that. But it was great. And emulate is something I am about to do this month. I'm going to jump in another game jam and test my theory, test my learning from this iteration of more. So that's create more. Now what? Do you remember? Probably not. That's all right. We repeat. And frankly, that's how you usually get better at things, right? Repetition. Or how you level up, right? When people think of repetition in learning, I think a lot of people think this kind of circle or loop or whatever you call it. Just go round and round. Just keep doing what you're doing. But I think it's a little bit misled or misleading. I think our experience should stack up, not loop around the same place over and over. It looks like this. I think it should look like this. Your repeat should look upward spiral. So from above, yes, it kind of looks like you're looping in the same place over and over, but actually every loop you make, every create more you do, you're actually going up because it's an upward spiral. So that's how you keep leveling up. That's how I tackle my creative projects. Create more, and repeat. We do that, then we're all leveling up. Thank you very much.